Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to find out, can offset guitars play doom / stoner rock / metal? Yeah, this video essentially is a follow-on from a video I made, God, good few years ago now, end of 2019 I think is when it came out, and it was about Telecasters, just here next to me. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it was about whether Telecasters can doom, and that video did surprisingly well, and as any smart content creator, I have been very slow about making a follow-up video to a video that performed quite well, because why would I try and capitalize on something that did well? Anyway, so I finally, the main reason that the actual main reason I haven't done this video for a while is because I wanted to get 2 offset guitars. I didn't want to just do it with like just a Jaguar or a Mustang or a Jazzmaster. I want to at least have 2 on me. And recently, within the last week, I've acquired this beautiful Fender Troy Van Leeuwen, the mic's in the way, Jazzmaster. Beautiful, wonderful guitar. And so I thought it was about time to do the comparison video with that and my Fender made in Japan Jaguar. So in case you haven't seen the first video, check it out if you want to, if you like Telecasters and you want to see a similar thing. The idea behind this video is that I want to take guitars that aren't normally used for the stoner doom genre. You know, there's been heaps of videos made like, can Strats play metal or can Tellys play metal? But I want to do a similar thing for doom, and I always used to see people online and in forums and Facebook groups ask if Telecasters can do it, which was my inspiration behind the original Telecaster video. But I thought offsets was a bit more of a unique kind of take to go for the second time around. So the idea behind the video is that the guitars are completely stock. You know, I've seen some videos where it's like, can such and such guitar play metal, but it's like, you know, like I think I did watch a video about can a Jazzmaster play metal, and it was just a dude playing a Jazzmaster with a humbucker in the bridge, and it's like, that's not what I'm about. So both these guitars are completely stock as the way I got them. Stock pickups, stock wiring, stock switching, everything. Haven't changed anything about the Troy Van Leeuwen Jazzmaster or the Fender made in Japan Jaguar. Completely stock, low output pickups, everything, right? So before we go any further, I will talk you through the signal chain and a bit of some of the finer details of the track that you heard. So both guitars were running through the Dunwich Amps DA120, and that was going into the Strymon Iridium, just set like a clean pedal platform on a Fender sound. I just wanted to get all the sound from the pedals. So that was set kind of on like overdriving a little bit cleaner for the Jag, which actually wasn't intentional. It was an accident, but sounds kind of cool because the Jag pickups are a little bit spikier than the Jazzmaster pickups. And then that pedal was being boosted by a Klon KTR set pretty clean with like volume maxed, gain only on a tiny bit, and the treble around halfway. And that was for like the opening riff section. And then when we get to the heavy bit, the Jag, then no Klon has the Hazumitas from Earthquaker Devices, and the Jazzmaster has the Boss Hyperfuzz on Fuzz 2 for the big fat bit. And I kind of wanted to show the 2 ends of the spectrum that I like when it comes to stoner music. With the first riff, you've got more kind of stoner rock, desert rock type stuff, and then the later portion of the song is more of the doom, stoner metal type stuff. And I wanted to show that the guitars, they can handle it, you know. I think there's a lot of kind of preempt and a lot of judgment around certain guitars that can and can't do certain things. You know, if we were back in the 70s and you didn't have access to so many distortion and fuzz pedals, and you just had your amp and you really wanted to drive it, yeah, you would need big humbuckers. But we've got so many pedals that have so much gain, especially in the doom world, and you just don't need super high output pickups anymore, especially in the doom world, with the focus being around really fat, often quite mid-heavy or mid-scooped, but usually quite like really big fat sounds, not a whole lot of like overbearing treble. the Jazzmaster and the Jaguar will do fine in that situation, right? You know, same with the Telecaster. Like if you're doing lower gain stuff where the character of the guitar is coming out more, then it might be an issue, and it maybe will come down to personal taste. But with the really high gain fuzzy stuff, any guitar is pretty much going to sound the same when you're running it through a fucking Boss Hyperfuzz, you know? But anyway, let's go through some pros and cons. Some cons of a Jazzmaster, and this isn't just for Doom, or the Jaguar even. This isn't just in the Doom context, this is just for everything. The bridge behind this bit, I don't know if you can hear that on the mic. You've got all the ringies, but that can be fixed with just a bit of tape. Tuning stability can be an issue for some people. I haven't found so much. I think if you get these guitars set up properly, I don't think there's too much issue. This one hasn't been set up, but even then, like, maybe the shop I bought it from set it up well. I haven't had it set up by my usual guy, though. The other main con, I would say, with this and the Jaguar is noise. These pickups are super noisy. Single coils just are going to be noisy in general. Yeah, so maybe a noise gate or something will have to be implemented, or it's just something you're just going to have to deal with. I mean, when you're using so much fuzz, there's going to be noise anyway. Some pros. I would say that the lower output single coil pickups that come in a guitar like this are good. I would say they're a pro. You might not think so. It's not necessarily a better or worse type thing. It's more just a personal preference. But I think it's a unique sound. It sets you apart from the crowd. I think in a world where everyone's playing, V's and SGs and Les Pauls, playing something like this kind of sets you apart. Gives you a bit of a different sound. They're kind of a bit scoopy and a bit trebly, but if you've got something like a DA120 or a big raughty orange amp, you can add that low end back in, especially in a genre like Doom where low end is permitted and wanted. You can add that shit back in, and these will give you kind of a spankier, more wiry, maybe a little bit more pick attack, not quite as sock over the microphone kind of a sound. The other thing, looks-wise, I think offset guitars look really nice. And if you rocked up to like a Doom gig playing one of these, it would set you apart. Maybe make you look a bit different. I don't know. I personally haven't played Doom. I don't play Doom, but I am in a kind of a stoner rock, psych rock band. Haven't used a Jag, but I have used a Strat live with that band and worked really well. That will be my next video. I'll do the same thing, but I'll do it with a Strat. But just to prove to you that this can be compared to something designed for the genre, I'm going to compare this Jazzmaster against my Brent Hines Epiphone V, which has got, it's a V, it's got really high output humbuckers in there. So yeah, I'm going to compare. I'm going to play some clips, play through the first riff first, play through the first half of the song, that main riff first, and I'm with the Jag, and then with the V. Both guitars are just running through the Klon KTR and the DA120. I left everything the same between the comparisons, so you can hear how much it changes with the guitar. And then I also played through the heavy riff, which I'll compare, and that was just the Hyperfuzz into the DA120, once again with both guitars. So we will go to that clip now, and we will hear the difference or the similarities. So, yes, obviously there are going to be some differences between the two, right? The V, especially those pickups and that guitar is just a really dark sounding guitar. But all things considered, they didn't sound that different. And that's what I'm trying to get at here, is that when you're using so much gain and so much distortion and such like a low kind of grumbly sound, it doesn't matter. You know, you don't need super high output pickups anymore to create distortion, because there's so much distortion available in amps and pedals and everything, you know. But I guess the main advantage to using something like a Jazzmaster, and I mean the Jazzmaster specifically here, is scale length. Now, if you know your scale lengths, you know that most Gibson guitars, or all Gibson guitars, or most, I think that's something shorter. Most Gibson guitars are 24 3/4 scale length. 24 3/4 inches scale length. Whereas the Fender Jazzmaster, like the Telecaster and the Stratocaster, have a 25.5 inch scale length. Now, why is that good, and why have I not included the Jaguar? Well, it's good because the longer the scale length, the lower you can tune your guitar while also keeping everything in tune. You don't have to use super thick. You will still have to use thick strings, but it won't be as crazy as on like a Gibson style guitar. That extra scale length just helps add a bit of string tension, makes it feel better to play, and makes it stay in tune better. Now, the Jaguar has a 24 inch scale length, which is shorter than a Gibson. So I would have a hard time recommending the Jaguar if you were playing in a band that was tuning anything lower than D standard drop C. I have used the Jag to go into that drop C tuning with 11 to 56 strings on it, and it can handle it. You could even go thicker, but yeah, something like a Gibson or a 25.5 Fender scale length is going to be better for the low tuning stuff. This is also confession time. I have kind of thinner strings on the Jag at the moment. The Jaguar only got 11 to 48s on there. So instead of tuning it down to drop C like I did, because the song's in drop C like I did with the Jazzmaster, I just used my Digitech whammy to pitch it down, because couldn't be bothered restringing it. They're fresh strings, and I couldn't be bothered dealing with it going out of tune every time I hit it. So yeah, that's it. But that's pretty much it for today. Let me know what you thought. Did you think this was a worthwhile experiment? Did you think the Jag and the Jazzmaster sounded cool? Who are there any bands? I know, I think the guy from Fu Manchu uses a Jaguar, so that's pretty cool. And you see Jazzmasters pop up more on like the psych rock, garage rock, kind of stoner desert rock side of things a little bit more. But yeah, let me know. Are there any doom stoner guys who use single coil guitars, particularly offsets? Let me know if you liked the song and all that other shit. And just if you want to tell me your favorite spaghetti bolognese recipe, let me know that one too. But yeah, I have been Strasbourg. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your mother you love her, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.